Hey, it's Sela Social Studies.
Hey guys, welcome for your chapter 6 review. Study. Okay, this review video again, just like the other ones, is going to be a quick review of the note sheet. I may not get every single answer from the note sheet, but I want you to make sure that you study your note sheet, as well as using any other type of option that I give you, whether it be a quizzes or a Kahoot or just reading your sheet. Do something, because these videos, like I said, are just going to be most of the answers kind of like a general understanding. So what's the first thing we're going to go over in our chapter 6? Know your differences between your Federalists and your Anti-Federalists. You're going to have to know who, but also know the very big differences. Federalists, those are the people who wanted to approve the Constitution just the way it was. These are the people who wanted the strong central government. Remember, they were supported by the well-educated, the rich. They wanted the rich to be able to go ahead and have their hand in the economic system of the United States. They wanted the wealthy to be a part of this higher educated people to run the country. They were located mostly in the Northeast in the cities, and these are the people like Alexander Hamilton. Remember, Hamilton was a Federalist. He was one of those guys who wanted the rich, the wealthy, the educated, really supported a national bank, really supported the assumption of the state's debts to get a line of credit to be able to continue trade with England. Remember, these Federalists are the guys who are dealing with the bankers. These are the guys that are dealing with the merchants, the traders, those type of people. These are not farmers, okay? These are the guys that live in the Northeast and the smaller states that do the trading. Federalists, remember, support the Constitution the way it is. Everything's good to go. Big central government. Anti-Federalists, quite the opposite. These are the small town farmers. These are the guys supported by the number one anti-Federalist, Thomas Jefferson. They think that the states and the local government should have more power than the federal government. They believe that they can have more control over it because it's localized. They can do more good for their state with a localized economy. These are mostly uneducated farmers. These are people who are not the wealthy, not the rich. They want an agrarian nation. Thomas Jefferson believes everybody should be farmers in the United States. They do not support the ratification or the approval of the Constitution the way it was originally written. They believe that it needed some individual rights that were to be protected. Okay? So these are the anti-Federalists, these small farmers, Thomas Jefferson, small backwoods country, mostly in the southern states, farmers. Okay, so now quickly we're going to get into Hamilton and Jefferson, and I think we pretty much touched on a lot of this stuff already. Hamilton wanted the assumption of the state's debts. He wanted a line of credit. He wanted to support the national bank, wanted to create one. He's a guy that was supported by the wealthy, supports the wealthy. He was a Federalist. Everything that you know about Federalists, if you know that, you know about the Alexander Hamilton. We are not going into the Hamilton whole life story here. We're going into his ideas about forming the government. Okay, Thomas Jefferson, just the opposite. If you know a Federalist, you could know what the Anti-Federalist is. Just swap it. Okay, Thomas Jefferson, Anti-Federalist, supports the farmers, not big business, opposes the Constitution the way it was originally written, wants rights for individual citizens. A Southerner, he's from Virginia. Okay, so those are the types of things you have to remember about Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson. Now, these two gentlemen right here make a compromise of 1790, or the Dinner Party Compromise. And you have to remember this compromise because it's important. It has implications on the United States today, right? Now, this was the whole idea of Alexander Hamilton wanting to pass his economic plan of the government assuming the state's debts from the Revolutionary War and paying them off in full. Now, what does that do? That gives us a big line of credit. Now, remember, the Southerners did not want to get taxed because they were able to pay off their debts with their large plantation farming. The New England farmers and New England traders couldn't do that. Britain winds up cutting off all of our trade. So now we're trying to figure out a way for people to get money to pay the war back. Here's where the Compromise of 1790 comes into play. Hamilton's plan of assuming the state's debts and paying them off to build a line of credit to trade with Britain is blocked by the South. They don't want to have anything to do with it. However, we're going to talk about moving the national capital. National capital has always been in the North. It's been in places like New York and Philadelphia. And right now they're trying to figure out a new place to put it in this brand new country. So Jefferson and Madison from Virginia get together over dinner with Alexander Hamilton, and they say this: hey, we here in Virginia, we'll talk to other southern states. We will sit here and allow your economic plan to assume the state's debts to go through. We will allow it to pass. We will not block it. And in exchange, because it's a compromise, you will move the capital of the United States to a southern state. Okay, they pick a place right on the banks of the Potomac River of where it still stays today. And we call that Washington, D.C. So this compromise of 1790 that happened so long ago has implications today because of where the capital still stands. All right, ultimately, we assume the state's debts. Hamilton later on, a year later, with the passing of the Bank Act, creates the first national bank. The Treasury, the Secretary of State, Thomas Jefferson. We have two men, opposing sides, who are really, really influential in the creation of our government. Good luck on your test.